because of the complaint. Their ability to select staff is being criticized. In fact, if a bully is hired and starts interfering with the operation of a unit, it's really the manager who is under attack. The bully will destroy, sabotage, undermine the ability of the unit to produce. The manager will be held responsible. I described earlier how bullies like to move up. They crave power. They want power more than anything. Whether they're people who've learned to bully because of their life experiences, or people who are bullying because they have a pathological disorder. They want to move up. They want power. And one way to get rid of a manager is to destroy the unit's productivity. Bullying is not always like manager, supervisor, employee. It can be manager, manager, supervisor, supervisor, employee, 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 supervisor, employee, manager. It can happen anywhere to anyone. If a manager has, however, followed standard hiring practices, checked references, and hires a sociopath, that manager has been fooled by an expert. And managers, I hope, will come to realize this more and more, that they can be fooled. Bullies will lie. They're expert liars. The first time I was bullied, I was about 24 years old. My first big important job, and I was really keen to prove myself. A new supervisor was hired, and this woman came through in her job interview. She was dynamic, keen, professional. Oh my God, she blew the socks off the managers who were responsible for the hiring. They were so impressed, they hired her without checking her references. Yes. A couple of years later, too late for it to do me any good, I found out that she'd been fired from her previous job. The job before that, she hadn't been involved in criminal activity, but her incompetence had made it possible for someone to embezzle money. She claimed to have a degree from a university that didn't even have that program at the time she'd graduated, and on, but they hadn't checked her references. They'd gone by the gut instinct. The moment she got the job, she dropped that persona. She didn't have to act anymore. And she got down to the serious business of getting power and using it. And finally, when it comes full circle, when a person has been devastated, when their life is in chaos, when it comes to the point where they're going into work every day not to do their job, but just to defend the fact that they have a job, their behavior becomes so unstable or just plain different that the bully says, well, look, she's weird. She's crazy. I knew it all along. That person is now totally isolated. Good. Okay. I will try not to gallop too fast through this section. How to protect yourself. First of all, yes, you can protect yourself against a bully. The most important thing is to know that you are being bullied. Until you get past this point of like denial, denying that something is happening, you can't do anything. But once you know the signs, realize that you're being bullied, yes, you can start to protect yourself. This again will be in the handout, so I'll go through it a little quickly. There are many, many techniques that bullies will use. Start looking for them, especially as it relates to yourself. Look at the picture around you. If you possibly can, try to come up with some hard numbers of how the bully's behavior is affecting the bottom line of your unit or your organization. Grievances, time lost sick leave, mismanagement of money. It's been my experience that sociopaths in particular cannot manage money. It just goes through their fingers. It seems to be part of their sense of entitlement. It's supposed to be there. Plenty more. That. Now, start building a case history. Why is this important? Well, it will come down at some point to you versus the bully. If you write a case history, which, by the way, never let the bully know you're doing this, because you can be sure that your purse, your locker, your workstation will be searched. I used to carry a little notepad with me, and anytime I was subjected to some abusive comments, I would find a moment to nip into the washroom and just write it down. What happened, what was said, what witnesses were there. I was building a case history that showed the pattern of behavior of this person. And remember I said earlier that bullying is a pattern of behavior. You need to identify that pattern. when you come to sit down, say, with a union or an arbitrator, you and the bully would say, oh, you made it up. She just created that. She wrote that down. In which case you say, prove it. You have a case history. If the bully says it's false, it's faked, the onus is not on you to prove it. The onus is on the bully to prove the assertion that you faked it. Okay. Set boundaries in your life, particularly with sociopathic bullies. They will try to get total control over your life. That first time I was bullied, that woman tried to decide what clubs I would belong to, what my activities would be, what clothes I would wear. She wanted me to sign over my paycheck so she could give me an allowance because I was a child, you know, I needed to be managed. Oh, it went on and on and on. She tried to get into my life. They will send emails at weird hours. I knew one guy used to send emails and phone calls at 4 in the morning. His act was that he was a dedicated employee. He was a ministerial aide. And he was there at 4 in the morning working for the good of the people of Canada. In reality, he was just phoning people to screw them up, to make them feel off balance, to get them arriving at the office in a state of fatigue. That was his real motive. It's really hard sometimes to not accept emails and phone calls after hours. But when you leave for the day, your private time is your private time. Unless you have agreed to work overtime, then once you leave the workplace, you are a private citizen. Do speak out, by the way. You can do so politely, but you have to be persistent. For example, if someone shouts at you, you say, I don't like to be shouted at, don't talk to me like that. If someone uses offensive language, you say, I don't like the offensive language, don't talk to me like that, and add it to your case history. Communicate, yes. Silence. Bullies absolutely adore silence. The silence of those isolated people, each one in his or her own little painful cocoon. You have to be discreet, because bullies will definitely co-opt other employees who are frightened for their jobs and get them to spy on you. I've had this happen to me. But I had plenty of friends outside the office that I talked to. And I always made a point of keeping my communications going. Even when I was in awful pain, I'd call my mom, I'd call a friend, I'd make an appointment to go out to a movie. Keep the social contacts going. And mind your health. It really creeps up on you, the stress, the damage that bullying can do. And bear in mind, it's violence. You are not putting up with something that you have to endure for the sake of your job. It's too bad there's no legislation in BC yet to back up complaints about psychological harassment. But I hope it will come. It always surprised me when I was a union executive how few people actually knew their rights. Many people simply did not read their collective agreement. They didn't know what their provincial statutes were or what was or was not permitted in the workplace. Every province has provincial labor codes, which are supposed to protect the health and safety of workers, but they really refer to physical health and safety. In BC, you've got the Work Safe BC program, and I urge you to read up on it and see what it can do for you. And of course, policies where you work. And the big one, look for another job. You should not immediately run away from your job, especially as it's important to you, and you've earned it. Damn it, you're good at it. Why should you have to give up your job because of this horrible jerk? But keep that door open. Keep open the possibility that if you have to, you will go. If you are being attacked because you're competent, and if your organization cannot or will not protect you, why should that organization continue to benefit from your competence? Take it somewhere else. If you do not get justice, but by all means, try to go through the process, the procedures that your organization has, seek redress, make a noise. Next slide. These two people, I love these quotes. I left kicking and screaming from the federal government. They have what's called the exit letter when you leave, retire from the federal government. You're supposed to say, what did you like about working here, what did you not like? I wrote my exit letter. And I said, I worked with wonderful, competent, dedicated people who are committed to the well-being of Canada. And then I talked about how contractors are often abused, because contractors are dependent upon the person who gives them a job for their livelihood. And there are people who seriously abuse that trust in that position. And for some reason, no one has called me up and offered me a contracting job. I wonder why. Anyhow, I left kicking and screaming because I thought that was one of the most important things that had to be said, that this way these people are treated is bullying, and they have almost no defense. Okay. So yes, if you choose to resist, you will have a long fight. It'll be a tough fight. Marshal your resources, the people who can help you, the information that's available to you. Keep in mind the fact that you were targeted because you are good. A bully wants something from you. A bully wants your total abject humiliation and defeat, especially a sociopathic bully. If you let them get away with that, let them grind you down, and put up with it, they win. If you fight back, even if you have to leave your job, you win. If you fight back, it's quite possible that you might actually win, and the bully will get his or her comeuppance. I've seen that happen enough times to know that it can be done. Okay. But leave knowing that you're good. If you've been bullied, you're good. And you don't have to put up with it. And the more people who fight back, the less need there will be for people to have to fight back. I'd like to thank you so much for letting me speak to you today. This is a topic that's absolutely dear to my heart, and I'm glad to share it with you. I wish you the best. I know you're in a difficult profession where people often do get bullied, but I have very great confidence that through people like you, this world is going to be a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Katherine. That's a tough topic, but a very timely and important topic, and I really, truly appreciate your input. Got a little gift for you, but thank you.
Thank you very much.